Greetings, everyone. This is I'm Right.
I'm right.
And I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
How are you feeling, baby? Are you tired? Are you as tired as I am from all the hours of work we've been doing?
I am pretty doggone tired. Like I said in the other episode, I'm too old to be working this hard.
Well, I'm not as old as you, but I think I'm too old too.
Yeah, so I'm really tired. Working 14 hours a day and not coming home is really taking its toll on me.
Yes.
But I try not to I try to come home happy.
Yes, and you do a good job of that.
I try, even though my boss is sometimes like getting on my nerves, but it's that's how it is.
Well, that leads us to this week's topic, which is how your work or workplace affects your relationship. It's part of a segment we call
Stand by your stance.
So, sweetheart.
Yes, Jill.
You said, sometimes your boss gets on your nerves.
Yeah.
So hopefully your boss doesn't listen to this podcast. But so I'm assuming that. So I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't think I like your workplace.
Why? They don't do anything to you, Jill.
They do it to you. So by association,
but it's a job.
You keep trying to make me a ride or die chick. And I keep asking you why I got to die. But I'm with you. If they hurt you, they hurt me.
But it's a job, it's just a job. Like it used to, years ago, it was my career when I was the owner and the business owner and all that. But now it's just a job. Ugh.
Yes, but as people know who have jobs outside their home, if they have to go into a workplace, there are good places to work and then there are not so good places to work. And the not so good places to work could do a better job, but the reason that they don't or can't is because they're incompetent. They don't even know what they don't know. So they could run it differently if they had the knowledge to do so or the skill.
Okay. Well, I don't think that's what we're talking about this episode.
I'm just going off on how I don't like your workplace.
Isn't it more about whether I let the way they treat me affect our relationship at home?
Yes, it is. And you even said that you try to come home happy. And I think that's a good point because you don't bring, well, most of the time, you don't bring that mess home with you.
What do you mean by most of the time?
Because during the week, but when you're not home, we talk about it. But when you're actually home, we don't talk about it.
Okay, then I'm not bringing it home. Who else can I talk to about it than you?
No, I appreciate that you talk to me about it because I want to know what you're going through. So, for our listeners out there, if you have, someone, whether you're dating them or you're married to them, yes, I applaud and think you should tell your partner about your day and, how things are going for you. But at the same time, I do think there's a time and place to do that and a length of time, because if all you talk about is how much you hate your job to your partner, it can weigh on them.
It gets old, but aren't we actually more talking about if a person has a job and they're frustrated with their job and they may not tell their partner anything that's going on at their job. They just keep their mouth shut about that. But they take it out on their partner.
Oh, see, that's worse.
So, they're not telling their partner what's going on at work, but they come home and they treat their partner badly and are verbally abusive to them because of the abuse they may take at work. So what's that all about? And have I ever done that?
No, never. You've never
Good.
done that. And I think,
Good.
but I think it's twofold of that we're talking about is that you could either talk about it too much, or you could not talk about it at all. But the end result is the same: is that your relationship
Suffers, yes, from your job, or well, let's see. It suffers because is it because the person is not addressing their issues with their job, or not talking about it, or can it be that they talk about it and that's all they talk about, and they're not present for their partner?
I think it's both.
Ah.
Because I think if you internalize everything that you're going through at work, and then you come home and you explode for, just because somebody asked you, like, how was your day? And you explode,
Yeah.
then that's a problem. But if you also talk about it so much that your partner, because you once said to me, because I used to talk about another, we won't name the company.
I remember that job.
We won't name the company, but I was so frustrated. And I'm an expressive person, so I would tell you about it. But when you started telling me that my job was giving you a headache,
yeah,
then that was a problem too.
It was. Your job was stressing me out. Not good.
No, not good.
Not good at all.
But I realized that I was talking about it too much. I sort of, just flooded you with everything that I had kept inside, which can be as bad as not telling you at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's
so I think
that's true.
I think everyone needs a balance there.
Yeah, and I think everyone is different. Now, for me, if I had a horrible day, I do not like to come through the door and then everybody's hitting me with, this is broken, that's broken, we need to fix this, we need to fix that. Oh, what are we going to do about such and such? I just got home. I need, just be able to
a moment
breathe.
Of peace.
Yes, breathe for a minute. I work, like 70 hours a week in 5 days. So I'm wore out when I get home. So I don't want to get into, bills have to be paid and all of these things. Yeah, I need a rest. Ooh.
I must admit that when you come home, I observe, your demeanor first. You do try to come home happy, but, I can tell if something's weighing on your mind, or if you're frustrated, or if you're tired. I can generally tell what you're going through. And so I do give you that time before, I don't tell you that things are broken and all of that. I don't do that.
But you might ask me about, money issues or something.
Yeah, but I will purposely wait.
Yeah, thank you
to do that.
I appreciate it. Big help.
But I think, when I used to have to go out to work and come home from a long day, I haven't had to do that in years, really. But when I used to come home, I think that you gave me that space too.
Oh yeah,
because you would expect me to have a frustrating day.
Oh yeah,
at that particular job.
Absolutely. But I still try to do. You work at the university now, and then both of us have several things going on. Between the podcast and between your new venture.
Yes, I do have a new venture.
What is that new venture called?
Well, it comes out of, it's called the Do Something Different interviews
you
series.
You stole that from me.
I asked you if I could take it, so that's not.
No, that was my idea.
It's not stealing when you ask for it, right? That's what.
How could I possibly say no to you, my love?
Oh, what you do say no to me a lot.
Never.
You just didn't say no to me on that one. So, listeners, if you don't know, a couple weeks ago, and again, if you've been listening to us for a while, you know that at the beginning of the year, Tony, you talked.
Tony, me.
Yes. It's odd to talk about you in third person when you're sitting in front of me. So, but at the beginning of the year, well, you tell the listeners at the beginning of the year, what did you challenge them to do? Because we were doing it.
Well, I've decided that 2020 was the year of doing something different. So in order to have any type of change in your life, I believe that you need to do something different. It could be something small. Just do something different than you usually do, on a day-to-day basis, on a weekly basis. Just do something different. And I'm sure that people would see some type of change in their life to make their life better.
Better.
Yes. So you took that and ran with it. Yes.
So I decided, especially because you had challenged people to do that long before the pandemic restrictions were issued. So what I started seeing was that people were forced, of course, to change what they used to do.
Mm-hmm.
But my question, because I'm the one that always has questions, my question was, well, if you're changing things, if you're doing things differently,
Mm-hmm.
what do you plan to continue doing differently? So to me, that was a sign of growth. If you found something that you're doing differently and you decide to continue it, whether there's a pandemic or not, to me, that was a sign that you've noticed something that, this is better.
Okay.
So I decided to interview people to see what that is.
And this is video? Or is this just audio? Or is this, how is this done?
Well, the interview, the Do Something Different interview is done via Zoom, so it's video. But I also write an article with it. So, for example, the first one was with Gary Hines of Sounds of Blackness, if any of you know that group's music. And, of course, a choir, because there's 30 members of that group,
Mm-hmm.
including musicians, obviously had to rehearse differently. But one thing that Gary, as a songwriter, the creative director of it, decided to do was to genuinely make music that will help people in times of crisis.
Okay. Well,
so I interviewed him via video, but I also interviewed an ethnomusicologist, who is someone who studies how music affects culture, about how we all can use music to get through times of crisis.
That is fabulous. So let's relate your new project, which is very time consuming.
To my level of fatigue right now.
Yes, you are tired and it's very time consuming right now. Extremely time consuming. So we discussed someone that's working outside of the home, me.
Yes.
Now let's talk about you, because you're working inside the home.
Yes, I still haven't left the house more than 4 times now.
And how that could affect our relationship, because your new project is really consuming a lot of your time.
Yes, it is.
And much of your conversation with me is about your new project.
Yes.
So,
but it's not frustration that I'm expressing to you. It's excitement. Like, guess who I'm getting to interview today? Or, oh, I really need to write this now. So I feel like since I started this interview series, and, so I guess it's my fault, but since I started this interview series, I have less time to just hang with you.
Yes. Now, I support you in everything you do.
Yes,
so
you do.
When you need my help with it, I help you.
Oh, yes. You are my technical guru. You've helped me with all my sets
Well, I don't
and
know
my
about your
camera
I don't
shots.
know about your technical guru,
No, you
but
are
I have been helpful some in this.
a lot.
I help when I can. Um so I support you. So what would you tell a person that has decided, during this time where a lot of people are still in their homes, working from home, decide, or some people have lost their jobs and they've decided to take on a project from home that they can make some money, bring in some money to the home, uh, and it consumes them much like this consumes you.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
but what if their partner has absolutely no interest in what they're doing? So
Oh, I would be horrified by
how does a
that.
person handle that?
Is it just because they're not interested in what they're doing or they never support them? Because to me, if you're not going to support what I do, then you probably never did.
Well, no, let's say outside of the home, this person had a job that their partner was very proud of. Maybe they were an attorney. See, I didn't say accountant. So maybe they were an attorney at a prestigious law firm. Did very well. All was going well. But something happened, the law firm just closed down, right? So the attorney decides, well, I'm going to do something completely different. The attorney decides, I think I'm going to be a day trader. Okay.
Okay. Do they know anything about that, or they're
Not a
just
doggone
trying
thing, but
it?
they're very intelligent. So they figure
Okay.
they can figure it
Figure it
out.
out.
Yeah, it's day trading. I can figure this out. So they're doing this, but their partner thinks they're crazy, thinks that you shouldn't be wasting your time with this. So how in the past the partner supported them in their career, but now this new thing, the partner is not supporting it and doesn't even want to hear anything about it.
Wow. Um, okay, well, I have several thoughts on that. In the past, long before I met you, I knew people who didn't understand anything that I did. They liked that I was a journalist, but the minute I decided, I'm kind of done with that, um, they 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 seemed to identify me by what I did. And then
Mm-hmm.
the minute I changed that identity, they didn't care to be around me anymore. So I say to the people who may be in the situation you just described, they were one thing all this time and then they lost their job. So I would say to the partner, you have to be kind enough to let them find their way, because they're in a different space now, because they were forced into that space, and so they have to find their way. And I think your partner needs to be supportive of giving you the space to do that, because if they rush you or tell you, no, you should be doing this, I really believe we know ourselves what we really should be doing. I really
Do
believe.
we?
Well, I think people have to. I think some
Do
people.
we really?
Well, I think people have to. I think we ourselves have to be the one that really figures that out. That if
I
people
think
had
I should
told
be a
me,
Sherpa.
a what?
A Sherpa.
Really?
Yeah, that's
Well,
it.
when I was in high school,
That one threw you
yeah,
off,
I
right?
did. When I was in high school, this is Jill ignoring you. When I was in high school, people always told me I should be a doctor because I could get straight A's. But in reality, I absolutely hated science. I really did. I could get A's, but I
Mm-hmm.
really didn't like the study of it. So
No.
why would I want to go through all the years of education a doctor needs to become one? And so the reason they thought I should be one was, I guess they thought I was smart enough to be one, but they also wanted me to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, beginning journalists don't make a lot of money. But I kept coming back to writing. If you let
Uh-huh.
me write, if you let me read, I'm happy. And in the end, that's what someone who loses their job has to find out. If that previous job really made them happy, we all have transferable skills. So what else can you do with those same skills? Now, going from being an attorney to a day trader, and you don't know absolutely, and you know nothing about it, that might be a little struggle, and I can see why the partner might be like, but if you've always secretly had that interest and you do know something about it, then and secretly to me that must be a case of you were secretly passionate about it. I can't imagine doing something that you've never. I can't imagine that. Like, huh? But I don't think other people should be able to tell you what you should be doing. They're projecting what they would do, and it's not them, it's you.
So getting back to that scenario I created, are you saying that the partner should be more understanding?
Yes.
And
yes.
So they should be? They really should?
Yes.
Yeah.
And with you and me, because I've gone through many jobs, I think we kind of take turns with what we do. So when it was very clear that I didn't want to be a journalist anymore, you gave me the space to go back to school and be what I really wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you were tired of your job, your previous job, I was in a position where I could give you that space to, be the creative person you wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
I think in a relationship, you have to, so you picked up, you increased what you did to help me get through, my change, and I increased what I did to help you get through your change.
Uh-huh.
So I think with partners, whether you're married or not, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And also from working from home, I think people, if you find yourself doing a job like I gave myself a job basically with this project, right? I think one of the flaws or the cons of working from home is that, and for yourself, is that you put far more hours into it than you would for anybody else. So you have to balance that out too. And
really,
because
Jill, I thought all this takes you like an hour a day.
No. In fact,
Doesn't take just an hour. You just don't bang it out quick.
I wish.
But the interviews are only like what, 15 minutes.
They are, but it takes time to edit
15 minutes.
It takes time to edit them. Sometimes I do 3 interviews in one day. I still have to write what goes with it. So you have said to me recently, Jill, turn off your computer. Jill, just end your day. And so I had to hear you say that, and so I realized, yes, you're right, because when you're tired, you're like, oh, just one more thing, and that one more thing might take an hour.
Yeah.
And then you make mistakes.
Yes, but we both have that type of personality when we get involved with something that we actually love to do or we feel passionate about it.
Right.
We don't know when to stop.
We really don't. But we're known to tell each other, like, why don't you just relax?
Yeah, we don't listen.
And we're like, we don't listen. Like, but I got to do this.
We don't listen.
Just one more thing.
Yeah, we don't listen. You have to tell me, 3-4 times. When I'm working on a piece of art, you'll be like, Tony, are you ever coming upstairs?
Yes, because you'll be there for hours. You'll zone out.
I'll be there in a few minutes, and I've already been working on something for 8 hours. And I'll say, oh yeah, I'll be there in a few minutes, and then it's 4 hours out. 4 hours later.
That's right.
And so and I did try to do better with that.
Yes,
so
yes. I'm trying now. But I do understand getting into a zone when you're creating something. So I get that. So it's time for a second segment that we call
Give It a Rest and a Resolution.
Did we resolve anything? Do you have a conclusion?
Well, I do, which is what you said, but it seems like it could be a little bit more than that is to be supportive of your partner. Because some people just are really stuck on things being a certain way, and they don't do well with change. So I wish I could think of a way where people will learn to be more accepting of change and be able to put themselves in their partner's shoes to really understand what they're doing and how they feel about it. So I think that could be a good resolution on
Yes,
that one.
definitely, because this is definitely the year of change, whether we like it or not. But that's why the do something different mantra, I think, is even more potent or powerful right now, because if you deliberately change something, then you control that.
Yeah.
And so in regard to a resolution, yes, be kind to yourself and be kind to your partner, because we're all going through some type of change.
Yes, we definitely are. I don't like my change right now. Not at all. Not at all. And I know a lot of people feel this way. People that have jobs and they get a new job. Well, me, myself, if I have to take a job, which I've worked for very few people in my life, mostly myself, but if I have to take a job for some reason, my first thought is, when can I quit this job?
That's not good, sweetheart. That is not good.
It is. It's when can I quit this job?
Boy, that's not good. Well,
it's good to me. I need an out date. I need to quit this job.
Well, we need to get to our last segment that we call
I'm trying to help you.
Any advice?
Do you have any advice?
Well, I guess my advice reiterates what we've already said, and that's accept that everyone is changing around you. You are changing and others are changing. So when you understand that you yourself are changing, then that should make you more compassionate about what others are going through. But understand that just because you would go through the change a certain way doesn't mean that they should.
Okay. My tip is, if you're in a job you don't like, that you should not come home and take it out on your partner, because they don't deserve it. And you might drive them away over a job.
Yeah, that would
ruin your whole relationship over a job.
Yes, because
that's insane.
With workaholics, if you're never
I used
around.
To be one.
Yes, I know. Says the man that said vacations were overrated.
Oh, I wasn't a workaholic when I met you. I wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't. I worked a lot, but I was no longer a workaholic.
That's true. I'll say that. Yes.
But years ago, I was a workaholic.
Yes. But that definitely affects relationship. If you're absent, you have to be present.
That is true. That's very true.
Yes.
Very. Okay.
All right. Anything else you want to say?
Nope.
Okay.
I think I'm done. Done.
With your work?
Yes. I can't, after this episode, I can't go home and talk about my coworker, my colleague.
What do you mean? Yes,
You're my colleague. I can't go home and talk about you after this podcast.
Do you normally? Wait. I think you just revealed something I didn't know.
How hard you worked me. You worked me too hard, Jill.
That's a good point. You can't talk about that anymore. That's a good point. All right. Well, we need to, I guess, sign off.
Yes, we do.
I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
You've been listening to I'm Right.
I'm Right.
And shout out to Gifford Ivan Cordova III for the music, Nick Simke for the art. And thank you, listeners.
Thank you. Yes.
Be kind to one another.
I can't wait to start seeing you all again. But COVID isn't over yet, so we're not going to see you for a bit.
On that note, bye.
Bye-bye.